G1 needs to win, whilst other teams watch from the sidelines cheering on an Oxygen win. Can G1 overcome the pressure of the region against them? Find out now.
Oxygen are the popularity vote coming into this matchup. G1, however, are doing it for themselves and nobody else. Best of 7 on the way, Johnny. Huge ramifications either side.
Yeah, can they get it done? G1 have all to play for. Oxygen, of course. We want to prove that that Regional 2 exit in Swiss was just a mere blip on the, what hopefully for them will be very, very impressive split overall. They could still go in as that top team. Carmine Corp kind of stealing that title away from them after the last event. It's going to need to be an incredibly impressive performance from G1 to fight with Oxygen today. Oxygen, I think, played pretty well in the Swiss stage. They did end up dropping to Carmine Corp and to go to Game 5 against Team Liquid as well. But seeing the form of those teams, I think Oxygen's losses and struggles actually don't look too bad.
No, certainly not. And one big thing going potentially against G1, given the history of Rocket League, is they are the team that has to win. For Oxygen, job done. They are playing this one for seeding, and as nice as it is to have the highest seeding, the more pressure is over on G1. And we have seen previously that those expectations tend to drop teams down a level or two. Everything feels that little bit less loose. They do need to play up to their, or even higher than the usual standards. They have not made it as far as maybe they might have wanted to, especially under this Mark by a redemption run. Oli sees the ball taken away. Archie sticks around, and that leaves enough time for Jorius, who's just going to loiter back for the time being.
Yeah, this G1 roster, they need to peak. Oh, that's a miss. Suddenly, Dorito's got an opportunity. Centers. It looks like himself and Atomic weren't on the same page there. I think G1 needs to peak for this split right here, right now. They've been talked about as a potential top 5 team in the region by lots of pros from other teams in the region and many analysts as well, but they haven't yet proved that. They've just been on the outside looking in, and that's where they still are slowly now with a very interesting interception. Very effective interception as well, just safely keeping that in the back corner.
Well, for the G1 first regional, seem to be making waves, seem to be at least justifying the preseason predictions for them as a team. Last regional, though, everything went a lot quieter. And since opinions change very quickly in Rocket League, you are always sort of judged by your previous results. Then can we say that for Oxygen won the first regional, were nowhere to be seen when it came to the top 8 last time, but a lot of their reputation currently being held strong by that regional win, but they need to do well here. You end up dropping to G1, suddenly expectations start getting dropped.
Yeah, from the early signs that we're seeing here, I think Oxygen do look more like their Regional 1 selves than their Regional 2 selves. Regional 2 Oxygen, they just could not get anything to work. They're going to need to do quite a lot of defending, though, if they're going to keep G1 back. Third man for Oxygen staying pretty deep. Looks like they really don't want to get caught out of position here, but that is giving G1 plenty space to just move into the midfield and start connecting those passes together as, again, Atomic just lunges down the line trying to do exactly that. Let's look how far back Oxygen are from the play. This is not, positionally what we saw from them in Regional 1, where they were just swarming the opposition and attacking constantly, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Oh, that is, though.
Oh, dear.
Wow, what on earth is this? All of a sudden, a massive mistake from Oxygen. It's knocked forward by Atomic, but Jorius completely misses what should be a routine clear.
Well, we were talking about it earlier on backstage, Johnny, but I think there's an awful lot of fan bases that currently feel it. The moment you start pulling for a team, it feels like the mistakes are much more prevalent. Well, for those of you currently pulling for Oxygen, you're not feeling like the mistakes are more prevalent. That was a absolutely shocking defensive display by Oxygen, and they do need to figure it out. That might, however, Johnny, maybe start pushing them away from what you were talking about, where they were having a more defensive third man, because they are the team that have to chase up on this now, which, on the counter side of that, Mark Baye is going to be hunting for interception opportunities, and he's going to get more of them the more Oxygen expand.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jorius, right before missing that clear, called that he's got it multiple times, or at least confidently called that he's got it in comms, because everybody moved forward as if he did. And if he thinks that's an awkward play, he's going to be telling his team, I might have this, I'm going to go for this, but he definitely wouldn't like say, okay, I've 100% got this, don't worry about it. But yeah, very difficult to communicate exactly, how accurately you're going to be making a play in a very short time frame in Rocket League. This game plan that Oxygen have come in with, they'll have to change for the tail end of this game. Even if they don't decide to change it later in the series, I think it's probably something they've tailor-made for G1, looking to catch G1 overextending. But actually, that hasn't happened yet, so Oxygen are going to need to try and force something themselves here.
Well, good demo. Oli takes control of the ball, keeps it going to the opposite side of the field. 30 seconds left on the block. Oh, what a block that is! Almost went in, instead rattles the post. Marked by 8, trying to buy his team some time. 20 seconds now on the clock. Oli, only as far as Atomic. He doesn't quite make contact. But a pinch that is. Oli can still be a bit of a nuisance for the time being. G1 have done a decent job of not allowing big opportunities go against them. And now they've broken away. One final shot at this. Archie sees his attempt taken away from him, and Archie Jorius keeps it alive.
That's well kept up by Oli as well. It's going to be half a chance here for Oxygen to work with, but plenty boost for G1 and plenty pressure on the ball will lead it to drop into the ground and give them the first game. Well, we said G1 are going to need to peak. They're going to need to perform at their highest level. So far, so good. Didn't need to make a huge play in offense, thanks to Oxygen and specifically Joria's misplay, but they took the chance that they got. They were there for it. Second man in position to capitalize, and that's definitely a good play by G1.
I feel like it's almost more of a confidence booster as well if you're G1, because if you see a team like Oxygen make those sort of mistakes, it just reminds you a little bit that, hey, we're not going to have to be 10 out of 10 all the time. We can play our game, and heck, they might get something very, very wrong at some point. But I do want to ask you about what you're expecting from G1 in this series, because we just saw the matchup between Williams Resolve and Evil Geniuses. It seemed like two teams there that were trying really hard not to lose the series and just get rid of the ball, see what you do with it. Hopefully you make the mistake with it. Do you see the same strategy from G1, or is this going to be all out?
No, I do think G1 are going for this a bit more. They are trying to put pressure on Oxygen. You know, they didn't make any huge 1v2 out plays or any massive solo plays, big team plays to score. They just had pressure. You know, they were just going for efficient trades in the midfield. And the one thing I do like from them is that they've got passing options a lot of the time when they're trying to clear the ball. They are keeping players down the line just to provide that additional threat. Oxygen have got multiple things to worry about. Don't want to just get all caged up against a team like Oxygen. G1 certainly are. That's a great bump. It's open for Mark. Archie tried to save it. I think he's put it in the net, but really nowhere else to go with it. It's a bump by Mark by 8.
I'm just keeping my eye keep my eye up on the top right of the boost amounts that we're seeing from G1, because there was so many different waves of their offense, and at no point did they start to loiter on their boost totals. So it's a team that can maintain the pressure, steal your boost all the time, and just keep it going to the point where you're just like, I've got nothing left. I've got no car, I've got no boost, I've got no chance. G1 looking to make life an awful lot worse for an awful lot of fan bases, and they are stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, not just that. Also for whoever has to explain how the scenarios work, the new updated scenarios if G1 can win this. Torito's at the inside of the post. Now, I'm not sure how much of an open net miss that was. He did have to place it between the goalkeeper and the post, but I think he probably could have snuck that one through. Still though, G1 are looking dangerous. They're creating multiple chances. They're, keeping up the pace. One of the concerns that G1 fans would have had coming into this match is, will G1 be able to keep up mechanically with a team who, when they get going, are just so terrifying to go up against? Well, it seems right now, not an issue. G1 are fighting for every 50-50. They're fighting for every ball. They are not afraid of Oxygen. And yeah, that's the perfect way to start the series. If they can keep this up all the way through, I will be mightily impressed.
Well, they might be halfway done if this current scoreline holds true. One thing I do like matchup-wise, and something that Oxygen are going to have to be incredibly aware of, is that they're not going to get much time for that first touch. Example A just there from Oli. That first touch from them, if they want to control and show off those mechanics, needs to be brilliant. If it's not, they're going to get shut down, and that... Well, they maybe need to get back to having the deep third man, because that should not be going in.
Archie expected Dorito to well clear this. Oli didn't expect a shot that he needed to dart back and cover. I think he was expecting worst case scenario of 50-50 from his teammates in front of him. And Dorito just parts the sea, just sends it straight down the middle, 2-0. Oxygen are being outplayed here. You know, they came into game one looking for a bit of a counter-attacky style. Actually, they were being surprised by G1's quick advances down the field.
He's still up against pressure here. We're not even halfway through this second game. Nice setup, but it's not going to go any further than that. The pace currently being set by G1. They're keeping it going. What a pass! And Oli keeps it away. And the shot was originally too high nonetheless, but still, these are the sort of plays that Archie's got to pull out just to get the ball midfield, and still he keeps going on. More of what we're expecting to see from Oxygen as they are harassing the goal line. Need to get it over, and that's not going to be stopped. Oxygen showing what they do best.
I love that idea from Oli, just hitting the ball up into the ceiling and getting the entire defense in an awkward position. Jory is able to capitalize with a place shot over the top of two defenders. Oxygen's first goal. And it did come off the back of an explosive play from Oli. I'm thinking this is going to be what we're going to likely see for the rest of the series. Just continued races to every ball. Both teams refusing to back down from these challenges, refusing to back down from these aerial battles. I'm here for it. I mean, what a change up from previous quarterfinal that we just saw. Hold on a second.
Happened?
That's almost in. A great save, actually, by Mark by 8. But how did that almost sneak through? What a shot.
I mean, that was definitely a call that the player on the goal line had it. And the bravery to let it happen. And the confidence to call it originally anyway. I certainly wouldn't have anywhere near that much confidence. And you heard how we reacted. As Atomic is actually back towards the ball. This is going to put them in a rough spot. In and out save.
Wow.
Good enough from Mark by 8. But Oxygen have upped the level here. Are they going to make it 2-2? No, Mark by 8 coming on the back rotation. He now puts Dorito through. It's one-on-one, him and Archie. And put right on Archie's car.
It's Dorito kind of looking to fake Archie there. He was hoping Archie would pre-jump so he could set up the low 50-50. But Archie just held his ground, and that forced Dorito to go back to the flick. And he really wasn't positioned for it. He was trying to fake that one, so didn't end up being all that threatening. They've still got one goal to the good, though. Mark by 8's defense, Mark by 8's goalkeeping specifically, has been one of the highlights for G1 in this game. Something he's not all that known for historically. Now, they're going to get to offense again. Atomic with the easiest goal of the day. And look who it is. He's doing something that he is known for, just disrupting the midfield, cutting a rotation, getting a very effective touch forward. And Mark by 8 sets up the third.
We're seeing two completely different takes on offense from these two squads. Oxygen, all about the mechanics, all about creating the resets, creating the 50-50 in your mind that, is this going to go straight towards net or do I have to try and get a block? On the opposite side of the ball, G1 are just all about pace. They do not care about anything else. Get you on the counter-attack, beat every player to the ball, and just maintain the speed that they've got. It's another counter that they've got on this play. And every clear that is hit as well as it has been is burning more time off the clock. I was wondering whether or not we were going to be looking back to that Dorito miss, but it's been irrelevant.
Yeah, Dorito did hit the post unnecessarily, it would seem, but it was him who also broke the defense apart with a long shot. 4-1 now. I mean, obviously Oxygen have gone for a big play here to try and make something happen at the end of the game, but they are actually being hit on the counter-attack. G1 are back. It could be marked by 8, back by 8 at the major. Of course, the Fall Major last season is where he got his debut LAN win. He's looking to make a return there. Somewhere that his teammates, former teammates, I should say, can't follow. And you're not going to be surprised to hear Oxygen have called a timeout here. They need this one just to stop the G1 momentum as much as anything.
I mean, that was ridiculously strong Rocket League from G1. I mean, and you were talking about it as well. Mark Bay defensively got to show what he was capable of on that side of the field, because it was, when he was on BDS, not something that was really cool to do. I mean, you have extra on the squad. Why would you need to? His entire role was disruptor, get in front of the ball every single time. there was a poor clear. He was meeting it almost at the point of contact. This has been a little bit different, still being called in towards his strengths, but also proving that on the goal line, he's just as good as anybody else.
Yeah, this has been a team where Mark by8's been able to show that he is a well-rounded player. He's not just a guy who wants to play first man, constantly chasing after and pressuring the ball and constantly cutting in front of his teammates to hit the ball sideways so that they can then come in and make a play uncontested. He's happy to sit back and let his teammates advance as well. And when you've got a team full of Spanish players, you're most likely going to have 3 players who like advancing. The Spanish Rocket League scene is one of the most aggressive in the world. And these guys love to attack. They love to put pressure on their opponents. I'm so impressed that today they seem to have found the balance, and it's against a team as dangerous as Oxygen. When we saw the bracket draw, we were thinking, oh, that's a bit unlucky for G1. Look at the other side of the bracket. They'd much rather be there, but they're still fighting. They've got their own destiny in their hands as well, which is a great thing if you're trying to qualify for a LAN. You'd much rather not have to rely on other teams winning for you. G1 are winning for themselves.
Yeah, for Oxygen, and this is maybe a question I want to pose towards you, because I feel like I know where I stand on this, is do you start switching up the playstyle in maybe a bit more of a heavy-handed way than expected? Because whilst I feel like G1 are playing very well right now, I also feel like stylistically, this doesn't seem to be meshing. Even if Oxygen play their game well in the next few, I feel like just the no-nonsense way that G1 play theirs makes this a bit rougher than maybe it needs to be. So I would maybe like to see some more long clears from them, but I don't know where you stand on that.
I think, if I was to hazard a guess at what Oxygen are talking about there, and they were talking during the timeout, it wasn't just simply call it timeout, let's just take a break, let G1 cool down. They were talking about something on the face cams. I think, against a team like G1, you never want to be alone in defense. This game, the game 2 opened up with a bump goal on a solo defender. The second play, we had a last man back not being able to reach the ball as it rolled through the middle. And they've had countless threats on the infield pass because the last defender's thinking, well, what do I cover here? Do I cover the shot? Do I cover the pass? You can't really cover both. So that's what I'd like to see from Oxygen, is less, leaving someone alone at the back. You can't do that against G1. You can't do that against any of the top teams really these days, modern day Rocket League. And offensively, I think that they look fine. I think they are creating chances. Oxygen just have to up the execution there. Strategically, they're doing okay.
So under a minute left, or under a minute played here in game number 3. Oxygen need the timeout buff to be real. That's another good play away. G1 not getting caught in their own side of the field too often, but this has been better from Oxygen. Off the interception, and help needed. Help provided, but Oxygen well in control at the start of this game. That's open for them. Archie decides to take a shot and actually bounces in a bit of an open way for both teams. But the lateral passing now being utilized by Oxygen. They are finding each other. They've got to get that over the line before G1 start adapting to it.
Yeah, Tomic probably would have preferred to hit Dorito down the line there with that pass, but he didn't have a lot of boost to really aim the ball. Oh, look at that for aiming. Sure he is, with a beautiful redirect. And off the back of Uli's pop pass, this is just gorgeous to watch. Just a perfect team play by the Dutchman. 1-0 Oxygen finally in front against G1.
And they've opened up the field, Oxygen have, leaving more options for themselves and more importantly, utilizing those options. It's going to force the rotation just to mix up a little bit from G1. They've now got to keep an eye on the players that are behind them, as well as the ones that are just in front of them. And at no point are Oxygen going to lose that mechanical edge that they've got. That'll always be something that they can dip into. Dorito can't quite find Oli's car. G1, that will also always be their threat, is that they will always be trying to wipe out the third man, because they can get that power clear. You've got nobody to utilize, and they can just see the ball go straight in. We are going to take a pause and jump back in soon enough. But yeah, let's have a little chat then about what we've got so far. And Oxygen, much better here at the start of game number 3.
Yeah, definitely. Just a well-struck shot there, well-struck pass. But yeah, I think the shot really stole the show from Jory. Is fantastic stuff. It looks like Oxygen we're not going to have any, goals being disputed
It would be
here.
quite retroactive.
Yeah, that would be a big break after a goal to call a pause and dispute it. Now, no goals being disputed here. Looks like Oxygen are just having some issues with their voice communications, but they're going to get that back up and running pretty shortly, and we'll jump back into the game at 1-0 for Oxygen.
You see, from what I've been seeing on the cameras, I don't think G1 are ever going to have that problem. They have been shouting during this match so far, especially when the goals go in. I think they could have whatever the communication server actually is go down, and they'd still hear each other through the headphones. But
per
right now,
Atomic, he's got something stuck in his teeth, it would seem. He's really trying to get it out. I wonder, somebody tell him he's on camera. He might not know. He might not know that they do use the cameras between timeouts here, but I hope he gets whatever's stuck in his teeth out. That could just be the most annoying thing. Somebody get this man a toothpick because he's having more issues with that than with Oxygen today.
Do you think like a bag of popcorn before a match might be the worst idea ever?
You know, I've never thought about that before, but you're probably right.
We need a tier list of like worst things to
there.
eat before a series of Rocket League. I'm putting that one at least A tier. There you go, Johnny.
I would say a packet of laxatives.
You know what, Johnny? Now, I don't tend to just eat those, but you're probably right. I feel like that was just sort of giving yourself a win for the sake of it.
I mean, I can think of some other things, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. Just going to leave it at that for now. G1 starting off brilliantly here against Oxygen, 2 wins in a row, and then Oxygen finally stepping up. I think the timeout definitely helped them just slow down that G1 momentum, and they don't have the pressure on them like we were talking about earlier. You don't want to have pressure when you're in these kind of situations, and G1 won't have felt as much pressure early in the series as they likely will later, certainly. So like I said, I'm going to be very impressed if they can stay as consistent with what they're doing until late into the series, because I mean they've forced a really good goal out of Oxygen there. That was a fantastic shot. Before that, they're saving multiple efforts, so they've always got that last save, it would seem, to keep Oxygen going. Looks like we might be getting started again pretty soon. Again, apologies for the delay. Oxygen back in comms with one another. Of course, Rocket League's unplayable in pro level without comms, so we had to wait for them to get their comms up and running again. Yeah, this probably won't put too much damage in either team. If Oxygen were trailing here, I'd see this as maybe being a bigger issue, but already got the goal. Timeout buff seems to be working once again.
And for those of you maybe that are not quite as familiar with Rocket League, and you're thinking to yourself, well, they're just hitting the ball. Surely you don't need to communicate too much. I highly encourage you to find some pro comms videos out there. They are rapid fire. Every sentence is like as low as or as quick as possible. Just code for everything to get the information across and talking over each other and just processing that information whilst playing at the highest level of Rocket League. And for G1, an opportunity to get back into it. Only took 32 seconds off the kickoff, and it's now 1 each.
Well. Bit of a mistake there by the initial challenge coming out of Oxygen. It's not a big one, but Oli has to be playing the ball there. Missing the ball entirely is the worst thing that can happen, because like I said earlier, stop the 2v1s. You've got to stop these 2v1s from happening. Jory is being asked to save a shot as well as potentially cover other options there all by himself. If Oli just plays the ball, then at least something is going to be covered, and Jory will have less to think about. Once again, well played to G1. They've got that second man in position anytime that they need to be there. They are there. They're pressing up aggressively with their second man on every single play, providing options to take these chances when they come to them.
Oh, almost managed to get the tap on, and Mark forced to just cover that angle. The G1 are doing very well. It's predicting the wins from Oxygen. Usually, oh my goodness, Jorius also had to have his head on a swivel. But now they're up against one pass, and Atomic turns it in. No shot if you're Oxygen.
What a pass by Dorito. He's pre-flipped in field, and Atomic is there for it. I mean, it just continues to hold true. The second man is there for G1. Whenever you need a man in the middle, you got one. You're never going to center ball for this team and then wonder, why are both my teammates back getting boost? Oh no, they're there. Doesn't matter how little boost they're going to have. They're going to be there for you. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal stuff out of G1. Oxygen had the 1 goal lead, but G2 quick goals after that, well, mid-game break after their own technical issue. G1 are completely peaking right now. This is the best I've seen them all split.
Well, they've got to try and hold on to it for another minute, and it's going to be difficult. Archie swabs it in across the keeper, 2 each.
Marked by 8. He tried to get in a safe position there. He reversed into the net because he's actually worried that Oli is going to drive across and bump him. So that's why Marked by 8 didn't go more quickly at this. That's why he didn't have the ability to accelerate into what looked like a pretty savable shot. He was worried about the bump coming towards him, had to reverse away. Oli could have just swiped him out of the goal and left the net completely open. So great play there by Oli, forcing the goalkeeper into the net and enabling his teammate to score. But what on happened here? That is the widest open net you're ever going to see. And it's off the back of a completely unnecessary double commit.
I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Why? What was the... There was no part of that was necessary.
Oh my.
And what makes that even worse is that you can recover those plays as long as you can force a challenger of 50 on the ball. They didn't do that. It was just a scuffed hit that left the ball open.
Yeah, it's really tough because Archie is third man there. He can see that it's a bit of a high ball, pretty awkward for Oli. And he also knows that if he jumps up, he's going to beat anyone to that. So he wants to go. But Oli just didn't read the fact that Archie was going to jump over the top of him from third man. Also jumped. So they kind of got in each other's way. No man's back. And, you know, it's not wrong for Archie to go for that, but they just have to know whose it is. Somebody's got to call that they've got the high ball. Somebody's got to call that they've got the low pass if it comes through. Instead of just relying on waiting for the bounce and hoping that both players simultaneously react accordingly. That's just a bit more risky, and it's punished them here.
15 seconds. Archie sees his shot blocked. Oli back infield. That's to nobody. Really close to Marked by 8 as well as they look to try and kill the time off and put themselves on quadruple match point. Johnny, you said they didn't want to see the later parts of this series. They might not even see Neo Tokyo, let alone Champions Fields.
This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. I mean, Oxygen haven't actually at times played too badly here. I mean, a lot of the goals they're conceding are silly. I think that maybe one silly goal per game is what they're currently at. But apart from that, G1 are just playing fantastic Rocket League. So if Oxygen are going to concede one silly goal every game, yeah, and the score finishes off 3-2 here. You know, G1 have still played Oxygen even for the rest of the game, and that one goal difference is the Oxygen misplay. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing from G1. Aggression. You know, they're really going for this. We talked earlier on about two teams in the previous matchup who both look like they're playing to not lose the series. Well, G1, they're playing to win this series. They're going out there and they're really trying to get the win here. And, you know, I might I'm accidentally saying G2 there. We might have to
I'm honestly
really
shocked
focus
that's
up.
not been more of a problem this year.
I was going to say it might become more of a problem because if G1 keep this up, then we could have G1 versus G2. You never know, and that will be a nightmare to call.
That's what I'm like the RevZ versus. I'm blanking because I'm just putting them both as RevZ now. RevZ versus Rezi. I did a 1v1 cast of that one. It was horrific.
Rezi, yeah, a lot of
Raziz is enough. Raziz is different enough that it's not too bad.
Well, we got G1, V1, G2. Like, where's V2? We just need V2 to complete the collection. So if anyone's got an org that could be renamed V2 or rebranded V2, let us know. I'm sure there's a team that we could help you pick up. Probably not major quality. Most of those are already signed.
You're making me really miss F3. It's just... by the way, we are just sorting out some server stuff for the time being. We'll be able to get ourselves back into this series soon. But the real story here right now, quadruple match point for G1 Esports. And Twitch chat, your perfect predictions, your 9 in a row coming into this. It might be out the window here. You need 4 in a row from Oxygen. Otherwise, the streak ends here. Yeah,
Cole's the only one who went for G1 here. Cole
no, he's not. He's
oh wait, was it you actually?
Oh, it was absolutely.
Oh my goodness, why is it you? Why is it Shogun who might be right here? This is just the worst.
We're back in
worst moment of my day. It can only get better from here. But yeah, I think they're gonna.
Where are you today? Are you 1-1 or 0-2 at the moment?
1-1. Yeah. 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah, painfully below average if Oxygen lose here. But
well, let me hear the hopium then. What's the hopium for Oxygen that they can get back into this?
Honestly, when you're saying that the hope, and I really am here, when you're saying that the hope for them is that G1 start to panic and start to get nervous that they're this close to beating a team like Oxygen, they're this close to the semifinals, this close to realistically being, I'd say, the favorite to make the major apart from Moist, if they can play like this. Oxygen just have to hope that they start to feel the pressure of the situation here. It's often when you're at that finish line that you start to overthink it, and instead of just playing the game, you're really thinking about, oh my goodness, we're going to qualify, we're going to be in a tiebreaker, we're going to be at the major and all this. So that's what Oxygen are hoping. They're hoping that G1's level drops off a bit, because I don't see Oxygen winning 4 in a row on today's farm. Concede one silly goal every game, Oxygen. I don't know if they're going to get it done.
Well, we certainly will see. You do start to slowly shift that opinion, but that's after 2 games. We need to get over to Neo Tokyo before we even start considering that maybe this is going to go against G1. As we are still trying to get everything sorted out to jump back into this. Maybe the good news, maybe a little bit of extra hopium here for Oxygen, is that they have managed to kind of get themselves a second timeout out of this. And they certainly need it, because the timeout buff did not work coming out of that previous game. But we will see where everything stands soon enough. Let's have a little bit of a breakdown as well, Johnny, of our current standings looking future, because we do already have teams qualified. Right now, we've been talking an awful lot about teams that are trying to qualify. That has been the focus. 3 European teams were already confirmed coming into this. We already had KC, we already had Quadrant, we already had the team that is in this series. Where do you stand right now between this time last year and this time this year? Where do we stand on Europe and the teams that we're sending? Because it has been wild.
Well, I in this farm, I would love to see G1 playing at the Fall Major. I'm going to be honest, because the style of Rocket League that they're playing is just so exciting to watch. And to see Mark by 8 make a return to International Major, International Rocket League would be just a joy for the Rocket League community. He has that World Championship tag. He's got his name up there in Champions Field next to the rest of the BDS roster. But of course, they did win it without him. After he was benched from the starting roster. So, he fully deserves that. He was a big part of that team's success and a huge part even of the season that just passed. But he wants to show that he can keep on winning without them. BDS have failed to make the major. Mark by 8 trying to make the major now with his new team. Really put Spanish Rocket League on the international map, because regionally Spain has been competitive, but internationally, it's not been a team-wide success story for the country. Just a player here, player there. But can they do it? Can a full Spanish team make it? They're one step closer if they win one more game in this series.
Is it the era of bin bad? What if we keep going like this? We well could be on the way. Off the kickoff.
Oh,
player was there. The player is gone.
Yeah, Joria's car is tilted here. You can just see at the very end of the replay there, Joria's car not moving. Now, when a player does that, 99% of the time they're tilted, because usually after a goal, everybody's darting around, everybody's spamming boost, everybody's jumping onto the ceiling, wave dashing on anything they can. Okay, but maybe tilted Joria's is the best version of himself, because he's actually just scored. So yeah, he's tilted, definitely, after having a bit of a bump situation with his teammate. But now they have a bump situation with the opposing team, so he's able to capitalize on it. Well played. It's difficult to score open nets when you're tilted, so you've got to give props.
Most importantly, we are to 1-1.
What a touch.
And no time whatsoever, as Oli might go the entire way. Instead, sees his effort blocked. Oxygen seem to be making a pronounced effort at the start of this game to bump the last player back for G1. Just disrupt that flow a little bit, and it has worked so far. Another shot on target. Jorius has the break, and G1 cannot get out of second gear.
And it's actually another miss coming through. I mean, not a lot of boost in defense for Atomic there, but he has to try and get some contact on the ball. And another bump. Every single goal this game has come off the back of a bump. So that's been the way to get it through. especially with how effectively Mark by 8 has defended the net today. I mean, you've got to be bumping him as now he tries to fight back in the same manner as soon as they get back into attack. I love it. I mean, I love the physical direction that Rocket League is headed in. Been, I think, trending more towards that as time goes on. It's not a new meta by any means, but teams are really refining it now and just timing it exceptionally well. I think that's really what I'm seeing a lot more these days than I have in the past, is the timing of bumps is just better than ever.
I have to agree with you on that one. There used to be an awful lot of players that used to just be, all right, that is the guy that bumps. But now it's just part of the game plan. You have to be able to incorporate it seamlessly into everything else you do and do it in a way that's not going to leave your team in a bad spot if it doesn't go well for you. And right now, Oxygen up in the lead. Can they maintain it? They haven't been able to do so far in this series. Mark by 8 on the back rotation. 3-0. What a clear that is. Even hits the ceiling, so it gets back down to Atomic. And Oli just kept tracking back, held against the urge to just try and charge down the ball. Ends up getting the goal line save, and now his team is in the offensive position. Oli can't take it away from the opposing player. Archie back in. Low boost, can't take it and continue the play. But Oxygen have found a rhythm in this game.
They're in a good ride. Yeah, I think they're going to be quite happy with the way this game is playing because they've just had boosts available. They've been stealing boosts away quite a lot. Well, they're not going to be happy when they see where Doritos flying in from. Where on earth has he attacked the ball from there? They're trying to surprise Oxygen, G1. They're trying to just hit them with those angles that aren't expected. All through the angle of approach, and it's attacking the ball from the far post side more often than not. Oh, look at this from Charius. That's the hat trick. You know what? Maybe he's not tilted. Maybe he was just like drying his hands or something, because he is popping off and he's having to do a lot of heavy lifting. Somebody help this man out. That's a banger. He didn't need any help from a teammate bumping a goalkeeper away for him to score that double tap.
And if he is tilted, maybe it's time for the coach to make a note. Tilt Jorius before every series. 3-1. Oxygen establishing dominance in this fourth game. Currently stands, they will not be swept, and they can at least force a little bit of doubt to start creeping into G1 fans' minds. They've still got work to do, and that's another double commit. The opportunity's there, but recoveries are the name of the game. And there's plenty of recovery on the side of Oxygen. There to the opposite side of the field. Not giving up, but Mark Bate could not get good purchase on the hit.
Oh, what will G1 go for at the end of this game? You know, with this many games to go, this many match points, I really want to see them just completely send it in one of these games. And it has to be, I think, this one or the next one. Just go completely all guns blazing. No third man, just, you know, 3 first men, just everybody up and see what happens. Because even if Oxygen do win a game like that, it's still going to make them think. It's going to make them start to wonder, okay, what are G1 up to? What are they going to do next? And, you know, can always switch back to their standard style if it doesn't work first try. Now, as things are, in the final minute, you expect a team like G1 to absolutely go for it, because there's no other way to make a 2-goal comeback without, you know, really forcing the issue, going for slightly more risky plays as you get to the end of the game.
The boost advantage just hasn't been there for them like it has been in other games. Oxygen had ways of trying to answer back. Well, they need an answer to get the ball out of this side of the field. Archie looking to try and put this game to bed, and he's going to do so. It's not going to be that easy for G1. They're going to at least need game number 5.
Yeah, extremely aggressive positioning there from G1. Unsurprisingly, with a 2-goal deficit and less than 30 seconds to go, but it does, of course, get them hit on the counter-attack, and, you know, they might not even mind that. Sometimes just going back to the kickoff and creating some chaos is the best way to start a comeback, even if you do have to concede to do so. But, yeah, this is going to be game over. Archie makes it 5.
I helped, guys.
Anything except a kickoff goal was just going to result in an Oxygen win there. Lovely read from Archie. Good placement with the underside of the car, but Yeah, this was all about the physical plays early on. That's what really blew the series wide open. One quick goal from G1, in fact, after the first kickoff of the game, and then 2 in response from G1, or from Oxygen, I should say, with the bump plays being timed perfectly with Joria's shots, and then, of course, Joria's with the hat-trick double tap. So, can they keep up that level? I'm not sure if they can. Oxygen still, for me, have a ways to go, not just in series score, but consistency. I think that they're still lacking something to convince me that they can win 3 more in a row.
We'll find out. Like I said, I start to get very nervy if Oxygen get another one. That's when G1, who do still have their timeout, but I get the feeling that it might be a while till we see them use it, just because this series has been so stop-start that they probably just want to get the Rocket League continuously played right now. And that might actually be one of the big problems of a match like this one going down, Johnny, is that when we get games that are kind of blowouts like this, you take your foot off the gas a little bit more. But G1 haven't had an opportunity to have their foot on the gas for a good 12 plus minutes, given stop, starts, the way the last game went. So they need at least a strong or competitive start to this next game. Otherwise, you just start to get them iced a little bit more.
Well, yeah, this is the moment where we find out, are G1 just going to keep playing the same way where, yes, you've got an aggressive second man when you're in attack, but apart from that, mostly a defensive playstyle, mostly a defensive structure, positionally, just to try and handle Oxygen, who have got that triple threat, solo play-wise. They've got that constant playmaking capability from all 3 of their players. Or will G1 just completely go for this? That's a great bump, actually, by Dorito. Mark's shot over the bar, though. If he just hit the target anywhere there, I think it's going to be very difficult for Archie to score, because the timing of the bump, for once again, it's just perfect from Dorito.
Oh, he's got that into the back corner. I don't think anybody was expecting that, including his own teammates. Infield to Jorius. Miles wide from him, but he can still keep the play going, or at least for a second. As Markbait calls Dorito off it, gets the ball playable in the midfield. I actually do not dislike that one. It's very difficult to catch the opposing team off when you're in that position on the wall. As Oli again, he's been the one tasked with the flip resets. He almost got one past the defense earlier on. Tried a second one there. Still neither of them quite working out for his squad. But it has just been hit the ball and follow up from Oxygen. Get the ball back to the corner, and G1 having to show off those defensive chops yet again.
Yeah, Oli in the Octane now. He started off the series in the Fennec. He is looking very speedy at the moment. He's darting around the field. He's trying to pressure by being quick as another bump connects. This is going to be tough for Mark, but he's done well. Saving at the near post. Can his team help him out? No, they can't. Archie slots it in off the corner. Markbait really just needs some help here. He's dodged a demo, saved the initial shot, but Dorito and Atomic could not defend the top corner shot.
Do the nerves start to settle in? 1-0 to Oxygen, an awful long way to go. G1 are the team that need to get over the line. Oxygen have already qualified. This is about better seeding, a better payout, and a better reputation to go around your name. As our Regional 1 champions are full open. Champions are trying to get themselves to the semi-final. They're up against a banger of a shot, though. Mark Baye, the moment the ball was going to him, you knew he had it in.
Oh, what a pass, and no doubt that Mark is going to bury that one. Impossible to save without a pre-jump, and Archie kind of went off the post there, so he's not got any chance to elevate himself in time. You've got to wonder, is Oli starting to chase maybe a bit too much? I said he was speeding around the pitch, and it has caused some problems for Oxygen. But in that instance, he actually just passed the ball to Atomic, rather than passing off to one of his teammates. He's played a very risky idea, passing to the third man. Any kind of infield to a third man is just risky by nature, especially if you're bouncing it off a sidewall in order for the ball to get there. And here comes Shori, it's another double attempt. It's on target, this time it's going to be saved. And away goes Mark by 8. Nobody challenging him just yet. He perfectly timed his flick, but is defended well by Archie. Jory is forcing him high. Archie covered that angle.
And G1 in defensive positions have got to keep their head on a swivel. They need to make sure they don't get hit by the demo attempts because they are constantly sweeping out Oxygen. They're not in a rush to get back. Instead, they're loitering around, stealing boost, and taking swipes at the goalkeepers. It's a position where they have done their best work, but maybe a bouncing ball is good for them. Instead, it's missed by Dorito. Jorius reclaims the ball. G1 are making some mistakes when they don't need them. They are finally at their own side of the field. You do not want those sort of whiffs. There's Dorito back in. Good challenge from him. Jorius, though, takes control of the ball and does escape his side of the field.
And Dorito not able to find 100 boost for a while there and wasn't managing his boost accordingly. Found himself a bit stranded positionally, and now it looks like Mark and Atomic have played the same ball. Luckily, Atomic's played it safely, and again, a double commit from G1, but it's not going to be catastrophic because, again, Atomic gets there and plays it into a safe location. Mark by 8 has been that guy just stopping any threatening air dribble, whether he's taking the ball or taking the player out of the game. He's making sure to get something. Oh, Jorius is awkward here. Oli to the rescue. Just 1 minute to go now. Both teams looking like they are starting to feel the pressure here. Huge infield. Dorito denied by Jorius. Atomic again being called upon in third man position, but he's been careful when he's in those positions. He's not going for risky plays. G1 looking to close this one out safely.
Yeah, for G1, they're trying to leave their options open now. In the first few games, they were certain about what they thought first time. If they spotted it, they were scoring it. As Jorius again, struggling off the back ball. His team's in trouble, but the crossbar saves them. G1 with a late flurry here. Bouncing, that's so difficult to deal with.
Boost ran low there for Oxygen, and G1 were just a hair away from scoring. Atomic's actually calling the fake there. Dorito was going for it. Oxygen read it. Oli's missed. Boost is still pretty low for Oxygen in the defense. Atomic backboard to Mark, who tries to drop down pass too quickly. Into overtime we go.
I like the idea. Unfortunately, execution not quite available. Overtime. And are we going to go to Neo Tokyo? Oxygen! Oh, yes! Oli top bins 2-1.
What a pass from Archie. But an even better finish from Oli. In off the post and the bar at the same time. Slot, Oxygen, 2 games in a row. Good to see a smile there from Atomic, though. I think he's also acknowledging that that was just a perfect shot. And if you're going to lose to goals like this, if you're going to go behind by redirects like Jorius is scoring earlier on in the series as well, you just got to say fair enough. I guess that just happens when you're playing against Oxygen. But yeah, timeout G1. It is their turn now to try and come up with a game plan. If they had, I said that if they had any wild strategy to throw at Oxygen, it would have been this game. That would have been a good one to do that in. But now I think they've got to think of something solid, think of something concrete, or maybe just like take that break and reset the momentum. Hopefully, take the wind out of Oxygen's sails.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the way that was played, I sort of want to expand upon something I said towards the end of that game, where G1 just seemed less assured of the plays that they're going for, especially in offense, because in the first few games, the passes were, it's going here, you will be here. Instead, G1, their passes for me are a lot more lofted and a lot more open, to try and run on for all players. It's just, I'm going to put this in this general area and see that if you can do something about it, which for Oxygen, much easier to deal with. You are going to be capable of getting over there. It doesn't quite take as much of advantage of the boost that G1 have had. And I think the key thing I'm going to say there is have had. The boost advantage that G1 were working with is gone. Oxygen either are collecting more or utilizing it better. Whichever one it is, it means that they are not getting caught behind in this pace battle.
Yeah, they certainly are. Keeping up that pace while managing their boost very well. Dorito, for me, was the guy who was struggling to manage his boost in the last game. And you can't go long periods of time in pro play without seeing a big pad because everybody's just hoovering them up so quickly. But you have to be careful. If you realize that's happening to you, it's so important to just be calm with your boost button, not feather it at all. Just flip around the field, wave dash around the field to keep up momentum. I'm looking to see if Dorito can do that in Game 6. Can he just calm down? He's the guy, the least experienced player in this team, so it would make sense that he's the player who's feeling even more pressure than his teammates, who have been here a few times and been here for a long time compared to him. But okay, let's see what have G1 come up with. Have Oxygen just got too much for them? Now that they've stopped, well, I mean, it's up for debate whether or not the goal they conceded last game was a silly one. I think Oli's play before the goal was pretty silly, but compared to the other goals they're conceding in the previous games, definitely less silly. So they're reducing the silliness in the goals they're conceding. Proving to be tougher to beat as a result.
Yeah, and Oli is definitely the player to watch right now because he seems to be the one that is dictating the pace of the series. Kind of rotation on occasion, but he's not done it in a way that leaves his team stranded, not leaving any double commits. And now we get the infield. Atomic delayed it, and the lack of control means that for the defender, that was a lot easier to work against.
Yeah, in no way is Atomic trying to let that bounce. I'm sure he's trying to catch that ball, because if he does, he's just in a 1v1 with ball control, and the defender's got to back off, and it's Joriaz, so you'd definitely, a lot of you would back Joriaz to make a save in a 1v1 situation there, but it did not make sense for Atomic to just let that bounce and then take a pretty harmless shot compared to what he could have done if he caught that. Yeah, it's not as scary for Oxygen to deal with.
Archie in the corner, sees Dorito take the ball away from him. Oxygen are reading the attempted plays away very well. Joriaz back down to Oli, and what a stop by Atomic, but the third man is coming in, and Dorito palms the ball away. Now they're on the counter-attack. Oli is the only one back right now. Does get it passed over to a teammate. Archie just arriving. And that was what G1 were looking for earlier on in this series, getting that counter-attack.
Yeah, that was a huge defensive play from Dorito. We're kind of looking at him more specifically at the moment, see if he can be more of an impact player like we expect him to be. Well, that was an impact play, you know, defending a very dangerous position and getting the ball past two opposing team players as you counter-attack. That's, you know, all you can really ask of anyone in defense in Rocket League. Attempted bump there from Dorito. Joriaz effortlessly dodges it and is there to defend the following shot as well.
Man, he had Archie behind him, didn't even need him. Oxygen are not giving this up for free. Instead, G1 are happy to rip the series away from them.
Lovely play there from Atomic, just refusing to dodge into the ball. He didn't want it to leave that area. He just wants it to kick out harmlessly, well, defensively at least, and really create a chance for his team. So just a little drive-by challenge there from Atomic, and then Mark comes in, causes some chaos. Oli loses control. Dorito's there. I mean, they're all in sync there. G1 taking the lead in Game 6. That's not the touch they wanted, though. Oli's hit the bar. Of course, he's trying to hit the target there. No point in hitting the bar at the far post. Follow-up will not be a shot, even if it does end up being passed to a teammate. Not the first time this game that teams have tried for a goal, tried for something that it's just been a little bit inaccurate at the end of the day. Atomic now, double tap, misses it. Mark by 8's there.
Yeah, Mark deciding that he doesn't want to leave the counter-attack open by taking a shot. It's always going to be an awkward shot to take anyway, but the demo leaves the ball for Atomic! 2-0!
Mark by 8, getting more involved in the offense. Joriaz did not see him coming, and that left it wide open for Atomic. Dorito just had to beat one. Mark by 8 eliminates the other. And the net's open for Atomic's second goal of the game, where all three players of G1 are there in attack. And yeah, did they say in that timeout, Mark, it's time to be yourself again. Be Mark by 8 unleashed. The Mark by 8 who has won an international LAN event just a year ago. Well, that's what Mark by 8's known for. Getting in the face of the opponents, causing chaos, and allowing his team to thrive amidst it all.
He's done a great job this series of proving a more rounded skill set than maybe he's been credited for, but sometimes you just have to show exactly who you are. And Mark Bate doing exactly that. Now Atomic off the backboard! 3-0! G1 have stepped up to the plate!
Well, you can't really blame Archie for not seeing that one coming. The ball's taken the scenic route to the back post, and Atomic has bounced it in off the ground as if it hadn't already touched enough surfaces on the way in. Perfect finish from Atomic. 3-0 G1 on the road to the semi-final.
And it's been a character-proving match from G1. Not content just to see the series go by, they came out swinging in this game 6. Now they have to hold on to this 3-goal lead for just over a minute. Marked by 8. Delays. Takes the shot. And Jorius keeps it away, but they are not the team that need goals. Dorito's still happy to fling himself in. You can see that they're only just rotating back on the side of G1. That is the confidence they've got, but it might just lead to a couple of nervy moments heading to the final few moments of this game. That clear, though, by so much time off the clock.
Yeah, even while they're aggressing like this, G1 have still got players getting between the ball and their own goal when Oxiden tried to counterpunch. And Atomic's that guy right now, but he can't block Oli's shot. Archie connects with the infield pass rapidly, and this is at an angle that no one in G1 was ready for. Atomic thought, okay, maybe he's shooting from there, but to get around that and infield pass it is definitely world class from Archie. Still time for Oxiden to come back.
The rule today was don't lose. G1 needs to keep this going. Banging clear down to the opposite side of the field. Archie only as far as Dorito. 20 seconds. We need something soon from Oxygen. Otherwise, this series is going to be done. Another intercept by Dorito. Jorius, has he got anybody to aim for? It's to Archie! Into the net! 8 seconds! 1 goal separates them!
Okay, now things get interesting. Now things get stressful because Archie has decided that he's not done with this series. First, a picture-perfect pass. Now, a picture-perfect shot. 8 seconds. Have Oxiden got what it takes?
That's a good kickoff for them as well. They can work with this. Only wiped out! What a bump, but they're still under pressure. Ball hits the floor. It will be G1 moving through, and they have done it! G1 take the series.